Alright, what is up, guys? This is Wunzy Gaming here. I've been getting a lot of questions about Overwatch in particular. You know, when should you pick certain heroes? What maps are heroes good at? What maps are heroes, really good at? What maps are heroes weak at? So I decided I'd start with some of the heroes that I know a little bit more. Junkrat's one of those guys that I really enjoy playing, and I think a lot of people enjoy playing him. He's really strong for your team. Junkrat is a hero. He does a lot of damage, especially if you can connect your shots with your grenade launcher. He can just provide all kinds of support for your team just by doing massive amounts of damage. Now, the good thing about that, obviously, is the more damage you do, the quicker you get to your ult. And Junkrat's ult is very good, especially in team engagements, because if you're good with his ult, you typically don't just want to go for like the first person you see. You kind of want to pick your targets carefully. Tanks first. If you can knock out a tank, like in the clip that we're playing right now, it's on Temple, the Temple of Anubis, and they have a Reinhardt. Junkrat is so good at taking out Reinhardts with his ult, and it's 100% worth it. Once you open up that, you get the Reinhardt out of the way, teams pretty much collapse because they rely a lot on getting behind that Reinhardt and letting his shield provide for them. So enough about that. Let's get into what makes Junkrat really good. He's really good at holding off teams. One thing that I would say you got to do with Junkrat in practice is bouncing his mortars off of walls, his grenades off of walls. Like in this clip, you see me do it. If you could do that, you could stop a lot of the enemies from just pushing forward, because they're just like, I can't get into that. I'm going to get hit by a random grenade, and those things are going to wreck me. The grenades do tons of damage. It's one of those heroes that I think might need to be touched up a little bit. I think his grenades do a little too much damage. They're not that hard to hit your opponent with. It's pretty difficult sometimes. Once you get it down, it's really not that hard. If they're running forward, aim a little bit ahead of them. It's good if they're running to bounce it off the ground. It seems like it makes it a little easier to hit them. I'm not sure if that's for everybody, but for me, it certainly becomes easier for me to hit them when I do that. As far as the maps go, he's one of those really unique heroes that actually has an application in every single map. There's really no maps that he's terrible at. There's some maps that I don't like him on. I'm not a huge fan of him on the Volskaya Industries. It's kind of too long of a engagement for him, and the heroes that people like to play on that map, he's not very good against. He's not very good against Widowmakers and Genjis and stuff like that. I mean, he's good against Genjis if you can land your grenades on him, but a good Genji can dodge and jump and get around, and it's really hard to hit those, and they really like that map. Pharahs are kind of a pain in the ass when you're playing a Junkrat, and they really love that map too, so I usually stay away from Junkrat on that map. As far as all the other maps, though, I do like him. I don't like him at the beginning of Watchpoint Gibraltar. I do love him when Gibraltar gets into the tighter corridors inside, because he's amazing. Maps that I absolutely I'm trying to think. Nepal, he's really good on. One thing you got to practice is your traps. If you can be good at landing your traps, anticipating when they're going to come after you. At the beginning of this clip, you saw where I put it by the door, and I would fire my grenades out at them and have them come in. At one point, the Reinhardt charged in and just got stuck on the trap, and then I just blew him away. Once you get good at laying his traps, that's like half the battle with him. I use my bombs, my mines and stuff like that. I use them a little more defensively than I think a lot of people. That's just what I prefer. Anyway, maps that I love Junkrat on. I love Junkrat on Temple of Anubis. Temple of Anubis is really good. There's a lot of really good corners that you can bounce your grenades off of that they can't see you, and you can put them in heavy traffic areas, especially on the B point. You'll see me do it here in like a minute or two. I'll start bouncing it off one of the pillars, and the grenade will go and just bounce off the wall, and it'll just choke off an entire point where the enemy come through. And what that does for your team is that point gets taken away. They can't use that route to get to you. If they do, they're going to take heavy damage from you. You don't even have to kill them. If you can just damage them enough, that's enough to assist your team. So just cutting off that one point, that means that the only points that they have to come from is either right down the middle, which is typically not advised. If you have a Reinhardt, it's okay. D.Va is actually pretty good as well for doing that because of her, bullet screen and whatnot. But typically they're going to come from the right side, which if you have a really good Widowmaker, I've had some really good Widowmakers, they'll hang out in there by where like the health point is, and they'll just punish people for coming through there. This is not a map that I typically like Widowmaker. I know this isn't about Widowmaker, but I've seen some really good Widowmakers here. He's one of those heroes too, and we're back to Junkrat obviously, that he's labeled a defensive hero, but he's very much a hybrid. He's very good on attack and very good on defense. The reason why I like him on attack is just because of the same reasons why I like him for defense. He can put, you know, bombs around corners. He can do all kinds of crazy stuff. His ult is really good at taking care of the defensive heroes. I like him on this map. King's Row is one of those maps that I love him on, especially the last point. The first part of King's Row, he's not the greatest. He's pretty good, but he's just not the greatest. I like a Widowmaker on that first point, that really long engagement. That's kind of where I go on that one. But at the end, when it gets to the escort part, he's insane. There's some spots that I don't have highlighted in this video, but if you watch my frag video, I have a frag video where it's Hanzo, Junkrat, and Pharah. Very little bit of Pharah. But there's some points where you can get up and elevate yourself above the point, and I don't know if it's just because the game is still new and a lot of people still don't know the spots, but when I go up there, I'm able to get 5, 6, 7 frags at a time, and they don't even check. They don't even look at the area. They don't even know where I'm hitting them from. And there's a nice little spree. I have it on the video that I go off. I think I get 6 final blows. It's insane. It's a full team wipe. I kill at least everybody on team once, and then they come back, and we end up winning the game. Just that hold, I was able to hold them off for about 20 seconds, and my team kind of sat back and pushed the escort back, and it's really cool. It's really good for that. I'm babbling on, but Junkrat's are really good. Like I said, he's really good at holding off an area. He can keep a team from pushing by himself, which is huge. Like Hanzo can't do that. The problem with Hanzo is, you know, when he gets pressured, he has to fall back. You can't really get stuck in an engagement in close range with Hanzo, because, you know, if you miss your shot and then they fire back, you're pretty much dead. But Junkrat, you don't want to charge a Junkrat. You want to keep your distance from him, but you also don't want to give him a clear shot. So with well-placed traps and well-placed mines and stuff like that, you can just hold off a point completely and just choke the team out completely. So those are the maps that I like him on. I him on virtually every single map, like I said, except for Volskaya Industries. I'm not a huge fan with him there. Hanamura, I really like him. I don't play him a lot on Hanamura, because that's actually one of the maps that I absolutely love Hanzo in. I think Hanzo is just a beast in Hanamura. So I usually don't play Junkrat there. Dorado, he's fine. A lot of those maps that have a tight corridors like Dorado is like a map that's a lot like Temple, where there's a lot of walls that you can bounce your grenades off of, and you can just get them. They can't even see you. That spot above, or if you're on the defense at least, when the payload goes underneath that bridge, you can. There's a spot. It's hard to describe right now, but you can bounce grenades off of like the bridge through the window down on top of the payload. So if they have a Reinhardt, which is really popular on that map, the grenade, he can't really do anything unless he points the shield up. Which I don't. Can he point the shield directly up? I'm not exactly sure if he can point. When I play tanks, I play Winston or I play Roadhog. But if he does that, your team can just light him up from the bottom. And it's just one of those things. But like I said, I like him in pretty much everything else. Numbani is one of those maps that's like, Numbani I think is a map tailor-made for Widowmakers, because it's long engagements everywhere you go in that map. If you have a good Widowmaker, if you are a good Widowmaker, you can just punish the enemy team. But as far as that goes, he's not one of those heroes that is strictly defense. If you get on a team where they complain and they're like, oh my god, we have a freaking Junkrat, we're attacking and we have a Junkrat, you just gotta tell them to chill out, lighten up a little bit, because he's not defensive like Widowmaker is. Having a Widowmaker on attack is pretty bad a lot of the times, because you're essentially, especially in an assault map or a control map and stuff like that, maps you got to be on points and whatnot. You as a Widowmaker, you're not good if you're in the thick of things. So I think here I switched like a Bastion or something. Yeah, I switched to a Bastion at the end. but he's fine on attack. If you guys had any other questions, feel free to comment them down below. I'm sure I'm not talking about anything. I'm sure I am not hitting all the points. If you have any specific questions, let me know. Let me know down below. And yeah, I'll answer them as quickly as I can. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm gonna do a couple more. I'll probably do a Hanzo today, a Widowmaker, a Mei, and stuff like that. But yeah, I appreciate the view. Please go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, I will catch you guys later.
Of the game.